Hi everybody, welcome to part 4 of using the quadratic formula, integrated 2. I wanted to give you some more examples today to go with this week's assignment. I wanted to give you some examples when a is not equal to 1. So most of your problems we have a is equal to 1, but I just wanted to show you to make sure you handle it and everything goes okay. Alright? So we're going to look at example 5 right now. We're going to solve 2x squared plus 5x minus 18. And remember, I'm going to show you, I do it in 5 steps, okay? And that is kind of the way I would like you to do the problems for me, is to do it in the 5 steps. Next year in integrated 3, you're going to be responsible for knowing a lot about this, but there may not be much review. So this is something I really want you to take forward. So it's not about the grade, but it's about you guys learning some stuff. So I hope you're hanging in there. Try and keep yourself motivated. If I had to watch myself, I wouldn't want to do it. If I had to listen to my voice, I don't like to do it. But hopefully you'll kind of hang in there with me today as we do a few of these problems together. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and start in example 5 right now. Just remember, if I go a little bit too fast or you have something, just pause and you can always get caught up. Okay? So let's review the 5 steps. I have some of them written down and then we'll kind of fill in the rest. So, step 1, I want you to take the original problem and identify A, B, and C. So, A is 2, B is 5, and C is negative 18. Okay? Step 2, I want you to write down the quadratic formula each time. Remember, it's something I want you to memorize. If we were here together, I'd probably give out quiz points or extra points for someone who would stand up in front of class and sing it, which most of you would probably end up doing. I learned how to sing it to Pop Goes the Weasel, so remember that's x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I also mentioned in the other videos, there's different versions out there. Sing it. I don't know, maybe I should give extra credit that you sing a video and put it out to everybody. I'll give you extra credit, okay? But there's the formula, so that's step 2, okay? Step 3 is the discriminant, all right? So let's write it down. So the discriminant from our other parts of the videos tells us how many answers there are ahead of time, and I think that's valuable. I looked at a bunch of videos on the internet to see if I could see anyone that breaks the problem down this way, and you really can't, okay? Almost every video I watch, you take the numbers, you plug them in, and you do this massive order of operations things in there. And that's where I see too many mistakes. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing this a little bit ahead of time, and I think you'll get the answers right a whole lot more often. So we're going to calculate this all by itself. So here we go. So B is 5, and I'm going to do negative 4 times 2 times negative 18. Now, if you do the parentheses right in your calculator, you can put that all in at one time, okay? But what I also mentioned is that here's my b squared, which will always be positive, and then I treat this as negative 4 times 2 times negative 18. Okay, so make sure you treat it as a negative 4. And if we do our problem, we get 25 plus 144. We get a discriminant of 169. Okay, so our discriminant is 169, which we learned that if it's positive, if your discriminant is positive, you have two real solutions. There are two answers to this problem, okay? So now we have all the groundwork laid. So step 4 is what I called our template. Just learning how to see these things ahead of time. In the other examples, I think I left this blank, but this is where my V value is going to go, my discriminant, and my A value. And I'm ready to just plug in 3 numbers, okay? So here we go. X equals -5, we're going to put that in parentheses, plus or minus the square root of 169. So this simply goes here. That is so much easier than jamming everything into the small formula right there. All over 2 times 2. And you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to call this step 5. Step 5 is when we're actually solving. So let me go ahead and squeeze step 5 in there. Do it for yourself. Okay? And now we just have 3 spots to clean up. Okay? So we're getting real close here. So I'm going to move this over here so we get x equals -5 plus or minus. Now the square root of 169, if you do that on the calculator, you're going to get 13. I know it's 13, I'm not going to punch it in. -5 plus or minus 13 all over 4. Okay? It's not always a 2. Okay, it looks that way, but this time our A value is 2, so this is 4. And now look at this. We do 1 with the plus and 1 with the minus. So the first thing you're going to do is -5 plus 13 over 2. Sorry. How about we change that to a 4? That's how easy it is to make a mistake. -5 plus 13 over 4, and -5 minus 13 over 4. And remember, if you're doing it with your calculator, okay, if you're plugging in with your calculator, you need to either protect with parentheses, or you need to do -5 plus 13, hit equals, and then divide by 4. If you just type in -5 plus 13 over 4, it will do that instead. So be careful. All right. So if you punch in -5 plus 13, it's 8, and 8 divided by 4 is 2, and you can do the work on that. -5 minus 13 is -18, and -18 divided by 4 is -4.5. And I'll let you punch that in for yourself. Some people will leave it as the fraction 9 over 2, but I'm going to let you guys just go ahead and convert everything into decimals. Okay? So I get an answer of 2 and -4.5. And there is example 5. Okay? So just another example, maybe a little bit more difficult with the A value being 2. And so let's move into example 6 right now. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 examples today, and then we'll talk about the assignment. So, example 6. 4x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Step 1, identify A, B, and C. And remember, just pause when you have to get caught up. And here is our problem. A is 4. B is -3. Don't lose the sign. And C is -5. Like I said, don't lose the sign. So make sure you get the sign in front. Okay. Step 2, the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Once again, you may not think it's necessary, but we got a nice rhythm going. It keeps you in the flow of doing the same problem the same way every time. Step 3. Is we're going to calculate the discriminant outside of the formula, and we get negative 3 squared, and put the negative 3 in parentheses. If you do not, and you enter this into a calculator, you will not get the right answer. Okay? Minus 4 times 4 times negative 5. Got to check my value on that. I think I'm good. Negative 4 times negative 5. I get 9. This front value will always be positive. That's why you need to protect with parentheses. Don't let your calculator lie to you. And if we do negative 4 times negative 5, we get 89. Well, excuse me, we get 80, and then 9 plus 80 is 89. And so that is going to give us 2 real solutions. It's positive, 2 real solutions. Step 4. Don't forget the negative, guys. It's really easy to leave it out. So there's my template in step 4. Step 5. I keep forgetting to put x equals, but here we go. X equals negative 3. So I think you can see where a lot of mistakes are made. People see negative 3 and they just write negative 3, but it's a negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 89 all over 2 times, ooh, we got 4 this time. So put in your templates, keep your sign available, and we got 3 cleanup parts. X equals positive 3. Now I'm going to do the square root of 89. And I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places. So we're going to get 9.43 all over 8. Now, last time I did the arrows here, one with the plus, one with the minus. If you're comfortable and you want to do it this way, you can do this. X equals 3 plus 9.43 over 8. You might like this better. And 3 minus 9.43 over 8. And so now we're ready for our calculator again. Protect with parentheses, just make sure you do that right. So I'm going to punch this all in, and I'm going to get 12.43 divided by 8, and I get x equals 1.55 And I'm going to do 3 minus 9.43. I'm going to hit equals, divide by 8, and I get negative 0.80. Remember, there can be some rounding errors or there can be some chopping off, and so as long as your answer is close, with the decimal answers, as long as it's close, you're okay, okay? And so we can be off just a little bit depending on how you round things or if I do things a little bit differently. All right, so our last example is example 7. And hopefully I'm still on camera here. So here's example 7, 3x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. And let's go ahead and start our 5 steps again. So step 1. A equals 3. And I'm just going to leave them how we're kind of putting them in color right now. I know you're probably writing in one color. So A equals 3, B equals negative 2, and C equals 1. Almost like having bigger numbers there than smaller numbers. I don't like the small numbers. I'd rather have something there. So be very careful with smaller numbers. All right, step 2. The quadratic formula. X equals negative plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. There, I signed it for you. Step 3. The discriminant. So it's b squared minus 4ac. I'm going to go ahead and plug in. So negative 2 squared minus 4 times 3 times 1. So I get 4 minus 12. Okay, so that's right, it's 4 minus 12. I get negative 8. So it's negative. If you go back to part 1, when it's negative, there are no real solutions. Real numbers are numbers that are all our decimals, our fractions, everything you can think of, except that if you take negative 8 and you plug it into the square root, you guys know your calculator will say error, because that means it's not a real solution. I hope in May that we can come back to these problems. I want to spend some time with you talking about imaginary solutions. But please, 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 on your assignment, if you get a discriminant that's negative, step 4 and step 5, we're done with. We're going to stop, and that is your answer right there. Okay? So that is the answer to the problem. So remember back to example 3, if your discriminant is 0, you put it in and you'll get 1 answer. If your discriminant is negative, you're going to stop at step 3 and just write no real solutions. And of course, if your discriminant is positive, you're going to get 2 answers right here. Okay? I'm going to keep the video running. I'm going to go ahead and turn it around, so you may need to close your eyes. Don't get dizzy right here. And let's look at the assignment. set it up. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not the expert at this. All right. So this is our work for April 6th through the 10th. And what I'm asking for is 5 problems a day, kind of a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now you received the notices that we're on block schedule, so technically you can be doing math from 10 o'clock to 11:30, okay? And maybe some of your teachers are setting up live meetings during the certain days or whatever, but we're all on video. So this is what I would like you to complete this week. And so it has our first 10 problems, all have a coefficient of 1, and then our last 5 is practicing the coefficients of other than 1, when A is not equal to 1. Okay, and it's got all the variety of answers. No solution, 1 solution, but most of them will have 2 solutions. And before I end this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that you are going to see. The reason why I'm asking you to be careful is there's a lot of mistakes that can be made. But if you make this mistake, I can tell you exactly where your mistake is. Okay, I can't find all your mistakes, but I know. So say you do a quadratic formula problem, and your answer is 5 and -8. Okay? But the correct answer is -5 and 8. The answers are completely the opposite sign. Okay? If that happens, your error is right there. It means that your B value, you have it as a positive and it should really be negative, or you have it as a negative and it should be positive. So if you go back and fix that, that would naturally change those signs right there. All right, I'm going to end part 4 right here. I hope you will do these problems. Once again, you can send me a picture of it, attach a picture, share with me in a Google Doc. You can text it to my phone number. And I want to hear from you guys. I need to hear from everybody. You need to check in with me a couple of days, so let me know you're alive. Let me know you're feeling well. Communicate with me if there's a reason why some of this can't get done. And just let me know anything I can do on my part. Okay? So this should take care of our week 3. And I'll be getting out more information next week on what we want to do all the way through the end of May when school is out. All right? Keep in contact with me, guys. Goodbye.